Yes, 100%. I struggle with empathy. I would say that the spectrum of people's emotions, to me, they're unsolvable. So, and I accept that. Like, not every time someone's having an emotional reaction to something, it doesn't need to be solved. Sometimes they just need to go through that process and feel sad, or they need to feel happy, or they need to feel remorse, or whatever it is. But at the same time, something deep within my soul is like, you should fix it or find something to make it better and make it work better for them. So though I might not be able to respond to something empathetically, what I have realized is something I am good at is kind of controlling the space in terms of like the vibe. So though I can't be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, do that whole thing, I can shift the mood to kind of bring it to a separate area, and I can kind of like change the vibe by changing like the energy I'm putting out. So that's kind of a way that I make the space work without being particularly empathetic. It's just kind of shifting the energy, I would say.
I haven't always been the best at expressing that empathy or communicating it to others in a way that makes them feel safe and open and wanting to be vulnerable and share in my feelings. But yeah, I would say that I have always felt very deeply about the people around me.
Empathy. Yeah, that's something that I'm really trying to work hard on. So it's just working on seeing what people respond to, seeing what they like. I'll give you an example. I was speaking to some guy today who's very logical minded, very logical minded engineer. And then whenever I tried to give him some, what we call in personality typing, extroverted feelings, FE, I noticed that he was just start giggling and laughing. It's like he responded well to it. So I'm just like, I need to do more of that. But when I do it, it sounds really, really awkward. But every time I do it, even though it's awkward for me, he like loves it. He's like, so I'm like, I need to do more of that, So it's like just figuring out what ticks each people's buttons and really trying to connect on an emotional level. That's the one example I can relate to you today. So other than that, the empathy is, I try to get it, but it doesn't really come out much because it's more internal, I guess, the empathy. And so I don't express it as much. And when I do, it comes out awkward, like the example I showed you today. I'd like to get better at that.
Do I struggle with empathy? All right, so do I struggle with empathy? I would say at times, kind of. I'm unable sometimes to connect in the moment when somebody's hyper emotional. But if it's not super intense, then if the person's not in front of me and I have to deal with them then I do usually have a lot of empathy because I don't have to focus on trying to handle the situation, if I should calm them down, if I should whatever. But overall, I would say I'm very highly empathetic on a deep level. The fear around emotion and empathy is what kind of disassociates me somewhat or pulls me back a little bit. But for the most part, I would say the foundation of who I am as a person is highly, maybe almost too empathetic in a way where it's hard for me to break up with the girl because I feel so bad that I'm going to crush her. So
for me, if I'm being very honest with myself, I do feel like I have a hard time slowing down my logic mind for someone else's emotions. And I tend to want to solve emotional problems all the time instead of just sharing that space with someone else and relating to them and sort of feeling that maybe the emotions that they're feeling. And I noticed that oftentimes I feel like I don't really fully understand someone until I really try to adopt or feel the feelings that they're feeling and taking that space, taking that time. So I would say that overall, I feel like it's kind of almost like burdensome a little bit to really try to be extremely empathetic to other people. I do feel like I pay attention to other people's emotional states, try to get them their space, but it's not really fully empathy, I don't think. Like if I really want to be really empathetic, then I would feel the emotions more rather than just trying to feel my own and just trying to solve their problems immediately. That's all I try to do. So yeah, it's tough.
I do. It's not necessarily the internal feeling of how someone feels like in the moment, oddly enough, even though I don't have FE, like I do get affected by other people's like emotions around me, but it's like I have like this switch where I can just be like, okay, I'm turning this off because I have to like help you in some other way that doesn't require making you feel better, because I just don't feel like I have like the, I don't know, like the tools to do it. I can do it very badly though, and it usually ends up being like this like awkward situation where the person's like trying to feel better because they can see how hard I'm trying to make them feel better. So the outward manifestation and acting upon this empathy, yes. The inward feeling of empathy, no, I don't feel like I struggle with it.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching this hopefully awesome piece of content. I would love to hear any questions that you guys would like to see us ask future guests that comes on, regardless of the personality type. So please leave those in the comments below. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share. And we cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Take care.